Welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy. Shh. This is a sneak peek. This is the journal that I'm making for my daughter's wedding, and it's going to be in two parts. This first part is the part that the wedding guests will see, that they will interact with. Then the second part comes when we get to put in the pictures and mementos and all of the notes and everything that my daughter would like to put in about her wedding day. This journal measures, it's a tall one. It measures, let's see, there's 12 plus, it measures 14.5 inches tall by 7 inches by about 1.5 inches. I made this from an old scrapbook, the ones that are like, well, I'll just show you that the cover is that wide, okay? And I took all of the pages that were inside of the scrapbook out. So this scrapbook was one that had the front cover, the back cover, and holes in each of those two covers, and the pages were sandwiched in between, and then they were fastened together with a metal post and what's it called, a post and net. I think that's what it's called, I'm not sure. But I hope that's enough information to tell you what kind of scrapbook it was. It was really old, and so I dismantled it. I took the post and nut apart, took the covers off, took the pages off, and then I took the covers, and where the holes were for the fasteners, I overlapped those two pieces this way so that the holes lined up and the front cover was this way, back cover was that way. And I glued those two together on top of each other, the two with the holes. That gave me a narrower, not a narrower, but well, it was the right size base for the spine. And it turned out like that. And you can see the indentations. That's the original size of the spine, and that's where they're overlapped. I covered this journal with gesso, and then I took different sheets of tissue paper. This is one of them. It says "The best is yet to come" over and over again. I have another one that is this brown packing paper. And another one that is this, they call it tissue paper on the package, and I got this from Hobby Lobby, but it feels more like just wrapping paper. So I still used it like tissue paper though. And I covered the whole inside and outside. Oh, and I also used a plain teal colored tissue paper on the inside as well. I covered the gesso, the white gesso, with clear gesso, and crumpled up the tissue paper and put it into it. And then I used Tim Holtz Distress Collage Medium in Vintage and covered all of that. This is a chipboard heart set that I painted with a paintbrush with Tim Holtz Distress Oxides Peacock Feathers. Then I took this rose stamp and used it to print a design all over the blue that was on the hearts already with gold, silver, copper, and bronze. Then I took clear embossing powder and embossed that. And then on top of that, I embossed a second time with this angel wings embossing powder. So the first time I used this embossing powder, and it is Ranger, and it's just clear embossing powder. And then I went over that with this Lindy's Stamp Gang embossing powder in Angel Wings Gold, and it gives it just a little shimmer. And then I filled on the inside of all of the hearts with Mod Podge Dimensional Magic. And that has to sit for a while and it gives it a nice glassy coating. It looks like there is glass inside those hearts. I really like it. I've used it on a few different things. And then, but it took overnight to dry. I had to let it sit level overnight to dry. I added, let's see, oh, here's that other tissue paper that's not really tissue paper. And I will show you how I did the tie in just a minute, because you'll need to see the inside of it to see it work. I created this kind of, for this step, as a TN, because when we get to the second step of decorating, it'll be much easier to do all of that if I can take the two signatures out to work on them and then put them back in. And if my daughter wants them to be in permanently, I can sew them back in then. So when we open it up, sorry, you are going to see so much of my messy desk because I cannot shrink the camera down any. When we open it up, this is what we have. I have lined the edges here with two laces. This is the Dollar Tree lace. This is some ribbon that says Always and Forever. And then in between here, you can see again the spines that were stacked. You can actually see a little bit better what they originally looked like. And there are the two holes that are lined up. And these three ribbons, I just put them through the holes and tied them around the back. And let's see, I also had this, what is this called? Some kind of a cut file. That's what it is. That was already cut out, and it was stark white, so I took some antique linen distress oxide and brushed over it to soften it up a little bit. I took the papers also that were originally in the scrapbook and added them into the pages. And you can see I have sewn the signatures together. They're a little loose because I'm going to probably take them apart. This is how it can just slide in and out. It'll just come out of the string if I didn't have that tied around it. See how that slides out? Just like a traveler's notebook. And the same on this one. Like I said, there are two signatures. There's that cut file again and that lace and ribbon. Now, what I have done to make this work as a guest book is I have, except for this front plate here, the only decoration on these pages are these little pockets. And I have made a whole stack out of scrapbook paper of different pockets. And there will be a sign at the guest table along with this little camera. And the sign will say, pose for a picture. And this is one of those instant type cameras, and so it'll print out. And then pick up a pen. It'll have 3 steps. Pose for a picture, pick up a pen, and on the pen is where they will sign their name, and if they have any well wishes to write down, they can do that. And all of these cards are two-sided. They can be written on either side. And then the third step is to pick a pocket. So after they write their greeting, take their picture and their greeting, and then they will fill the pockets. And I think that that will be a nice little memory with photos for her to see who the guests were, especially since some of them are family that she's never met because she's just now marrying into them. And for him too, for Eric too, her husband. And so I only put these cards on the original scrapbook pages. That way it's easy for the guests to find one of the cards because they'll know that they're looking for one of those brown pages. And this is just a quick sneak peek preview of the journal because she has already said that when we come back and do finishing of the decorating and everything, that we can make a video of it as well. I have way more pockets in here than she is going to have guests, so don't be thinking it's going to be one of those big, huge weddings. I put the extra pockets in there so that we can also poke some candid photos in there, some extra notes, anything that she wants to put in there. A business card from the place where she's getting married. Just anything she wants to put in a pocket, she can put in a pocket. In that way, it is just like a regular junk journal / scrapbook. And I will tell you that I got this idea from Dee Dee, I don't know, is it Farago or Farago? And you know, those of us who have strange last names like mine, Laceris, they get butchered all the time, and I feel so bad butchering, but I also know what it feels like to at least have somebody try to say your name. I would rather you tried to say my name than called me hey you anytime. And so that's what this is real quick. And then coming up, we will have, oh, I didn't tell you how I did the spine. I took the jute, this vanilla colored jute. It's got just a little sheen to it. And I cut enough that it was 4 times this height. And starting on the back side, I brought it out. No, starting on, how did I do that? Oh, I started on this side. That's what it was. And I pinched it in half. And I wrapped it, this side, it comes around straight from top to bottom. I crisscrossed over to this. You can see that there are little divots down here. I hope you can see that. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But there are divots here and divots up here that I put in to hold the string in place for the inserts. There we go. And so I went around this one, crisscrossed, went around this one, and then after I went ahead and tied that securely, I added these 3 ribbons. And the teal one wants to hide, and I don't know why, it just does. And these close over the pages. And then I took the 3 ribbons and the jute, and I tied the bow. And so that is the first step to this junk journal. I'm not sure why that's so loose. Probably because it's a big old bunch of ribbon and twine. So, coming up soon, I will show you the finished product. Thanks for joining me today. And remember, be kind always. Bye.